This is how it all started. A little tiny helicopter called the Air Hog Sharpshooter developed into something I like to call a love for helicopters. Some might call it an addiction. We'll call it love. From this little tiny helicopter, this whole process developed into a learning experience I'll never forget. First I'd like to say thank you to all the people who have posted how-to videos on the internet that have helped this process and helped me avoid a lot of headaches. At Little Air Hogs, I decided I wanted to build a Russian Mil-Mi Hind fuselage and take the stock fuselage and discard it and turn it into a Russian attack copter. So from there I started reading videos on how to make your own fuselages. The first thing I saw was that you could make them out of fiberglass resins, which we have here. These were my first attempts. Before you use the resins, you have to make a wooden plug of whatever design you're trying to reproduce. These are the wooden plugs for the Air Hog Sharpshooter. After making about 4 fuselages, all too heavy, I finally got one almost paper thin that flew a couple of times, crashed, and burned. So from there, fiberglass resins are not easy to work with. I started looking into the vacuum forming method. These are some plugs I worked on for my Blade 400. After I bought the little Air Hog, I decided to go get a little bit larger helicopter, which was way out of my league. Soon discovered you have to have a flight simulator to even learn how to fly this monster. From that point, since I couldn't fly, I decided, well, let's see how it is to build. So I started building my fuselage for my Blade 400. This is a Mil-Mi Hind, and this is all made out of polystyrene that I vacuum formed through the methods everyone had shown me on the internet. Now that blade will fit inside of this, and it will go in there. I haven't actually flown it yet because I'm still not confident enough with my flight skills to send this nice fuselage that I've made here up in the air. Now, in order to make this, I had to make a wooden plug. So I took 2 2x8s and screwed them together and got a sander and began sanding and sanding and sanding. I sanded for weeks and got a Dremel tool and started dremeling detail. Now I painted it and I found out that's not a good idea when you're vacuum forming because the heat of the plastic sticks to the paint. Lesson I learned. So after that, you build yourself a box, just like they showed on YouTube. It's just a wooden box made out of 1x3s with a pegboard top. And I just used a household vac. Actually, I used my shop vac. And one tip that I didn't hear on the how-to videos is once the form has pulled, turn your vacuum off. Don't let it keep sucking past the vacuum point. I burned up a brand new shop vac doing that. But this household vac has plenty of suction and pulls adequately to make these forms that I've made here. These were early prototypes. And these are early prototypes. Now, once you've built your box, you need to build a frame. And that frame needs to be able to fit in your oven. The first frame I made it 2 inches too big, had to cut it down. Like I said, it's been a learning process. And after you build your little frame to stick in here and turn the broiler on, as your plastic heats, you watch it and it will sag. The plastic that's on here now has already been used for a mold previous to this. So once the plastic heats, it starts to sag. You pull your frame out with your vacuum running, and you turn it over, and you place it. Well, it's kind of hard to hold the camera and do this. But you take your frame, and you need to make sure you strategically place it over the pegboard box with mold in the center.